while many provinces in China continue to battle heavy and prolonged rainfall. A shocking incident has sent waves of outrage across the country. In the early hours of yesterday morning, the Three Gorges Dam, the largest hydroelectric project in the world, quietly opened its floodgates without issuing any prior warning to downstream residents. As a result, thousands of households along the Yangtze River basin were suddenly engulfed by rising waters. Entire areas were submerged without notice. Traffic was paralyzed, power and water systems collapsed, and tens of thousands of people were thrown into chaos. In the silence of the night, without a single alarm or official alert, water surged downstream with overwhelming force, sweeping away belongings, crops, vehicles, and with them, the fragile peace of communities who, while familiar with floods, had never experienced one so sudden and unannounced. Around 2 a.m., residents in counties like Yichang, Songzi, and Jiangling in Hubei province began to sense something was wrong. There was no heavy rain locally, yet floodwaters began to rise quickly. Within 2 hours, entire ground floors were underwater. Elderly people and children had to climb the rooftops or upper levels to avoid being trapped. Vehicles, furniture, and supplies were all swallowed by the brown torrents. Calls poured into local authorities, but most officials had no answers. Only hours later did information trickle out from semi-official sources. The Three Gorges Dam had partially opened its floodgates to relieve pressure due to upstream rainfall, but did not issue any formal warning to downstream communities. This late-night release, unannounced and unexplained at the time, has caused immense damage and sparked widespread public anger. Many ask how such a massive operation could occur in silence. On the ground, the damage was clear. Entire neighborhoods became islands. Emergency rescue teams scrambled to deploy inflatable boats to retrieve stranded residents. Major roads disappeared under murky water. Electrical substations were flooded, plunging entire districts into darkness. Footage shared on social media showed harrowing scenes. Rooftops barely above water. Children crying, families huddled on makeshift platforms, and rescue workers pushing through debris-filled currents. One woman in Baidi town told a local reporter through tears, "No one warned us. If we had known just a few hours earlier, we could have moved our grandparents and taken the children to safety. But the water came like a nightmare in the middle of the night." What infuriated the public even more was the deafening silence of state media. For over 24 hours, China's major news outlets said little to nothing about the incident. The narrative was limited to heavy rains and seasonal flooding, with no mention of the sudden discharge from the Three Gorges Dam. Meanwhile, social media exploded with videos, testimonies, and mounting outrage. On platforms like Weibo and Douyin, people demanded answers. Why was there no alert? Why were people left in the dark, literally and figuratively? Many residents now feel betrayed, as if their lives and homes were sacrificed without consent. Some referred to their towns as sacrifice zones, places that would be flooded quietly to protect other upstream regions deemed more valuable. For these people, the issue was not just about water, but about dignity, safety, and transparency. Experts and scholars have been warning about this for years. Even the most advanced engineering structures cannot replace responsible governance and open communication. When large-scale discharges occur without proper warning systems, the damage may rival that of a natural disaster. And in the age of climate change, with extreme weather becoming more frequent and severe, the stakes are only getting higher. As of today, thousands of families remain isolated, lacking electricity, clean water, food, or medicine. Rescue teams are working around the clock, but many flooded villages remain unreachable. The economic losses are expected to climb into the hundreds of millions of yuan. But beyond monetary damage, the psychological and emotional toll on those affected may last for years. The question everyone is now asking is, will be held accountable? This is not simply a matter of technical procedures or psychological necessity. This is a failure of coordination, communication, and crisis management. People are not asking for miracles, they are asking for honesty, timely alerts, and the chance to prepare and protect themselves. If this flood discharge had been announced hours earlier, if proper warnings had reached every village, many of these losses could have been avoided. The problem isn't just the water, it's the silence. In an age of advanced technology, satellite monitoring, and AI-driven weather prediction, there is no excuse for withholding crucial information. People should not wake up to water at their doorstep with no explanation. They deserve better. They deserve transparency and accountability from those who control the gates to the river of life and death. The Three Gorges Dam is an engineering marvel, no doubt, but its silent discharge has now become a metaphor for something far more dangerous. A system that acts without warning, speaks without answering, and governs without listening. As survivors cling to rooftops and boats scour the flooded plains for those still stranded. The voices rising from the water aren't just cries for help, they are demands for justice. And those demands will not be so easily drowned.